let's talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the latest game from Rocksteady Studios, the makers of the Batman Arkham series. This game is a sequel to Arkham Knight, and it follows the Suicide Squad as they try to stop the Justice League, who have been brainwashed by Brainiac. The game is set in Metropolis and it features 4 playable characters: Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. The game has received mixed reviews from critics and fans, as it has sparked some controversy over its portrayal of Batman, who is voiced by the late Kevin Conroy. Some fans were unhappy with the fact that Batman is a villain in the game and that he is killed by Harley Quinn in a brutal scene. They felt that this was disrespectful to Conroy's legacy and to Batman's character. Others defended the game's creative choices and praised its gameplay and its graphics. The scene in question takes place after the first 2 Justice League members are taken down and our favorite band of villains have captured Batman. The Dark Knight, who is being mind-controlled by Brainiac, starts attempting to break down each character before Harley steps in and they have a short dialogue. She then proceeds to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. The scene is shocking, violent, and darkly humorous depending on your perspective. It could be that the game's director, Sefton Hill, wanted to show the contrast between Batman and the Suicide Squad, and how they deal with their enemies. Batman is a hero who never kills, while the Suicide Squad are anti-heroes who have no problem killing. The scene could have been a homage to the comic book storyline Injustice: Gods Among Us, where Superman kills the Joker after he tricks him into killing Lois Lane and nuking Metropolis. It is revealed that it is what Batman would have wanted if he and the Justice League ever went rogue, as that is why he left the contingency plans, which were meant for Robin, not the Suicide Squad. Now, let's talk about Gotham Knights, the game from WB Games Montreal, the makers of Batman Arkham Origins. This game is not a sequel to the Arkham series, but a separate and original story set in DC's Batman universe, with different versions of the characters and events. The game is set in Gotham City, and it features 4 playable characters. However, this time it's Nightwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, and Tim Drake's Robin. The game begins with Batman's death. Batman sends a message to his allies, telling them that he has detonated the Batcave and killed himself and Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins. Now, we get his death in a cutscene right at the beginning of a game. He also tells them that Gotham City is in danger, and that they have to protect it in his absence. The game's director, Patrick Redding, confirmed that Batman really is dead in the game, and that there is no secret ending that reveals he is alive. He also said that the game will explore the consequences of Batman's death and how it affects his allies, his enemies, and the city. The game has a dynamic and evolving story where the player's choices and actions shape the outcome of the game. This game featured a twist on Batman's death. It turns out that Batman was resurrected by the League of Shadows using the Lazarus Pit, a mystical pool that can heal and revive the dead. However, Batman apparently was not too happy with his resurrection, and he sacrificed himself again to destroy the pit and to stop the League's plans. He also left a clue for his allies at the beginning, telling them to follow the Owls, which is a reference to the Court of Owls, a secret society that controls Gotham City and has a history with Batman and his family. Now, we move on to part 2, where we see what happens to Batman in both games. The Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game begins with a cinematic that shows Brainiac's invasion of Metropolis, and how he uses his mind control spire to take over the minds of the Justice League. We then see Amanda Waller, the director of Argus, activating the bombs implanted in the necks of the Suicide Squad members, forcing them to obey her orders. She reveals that Batman is dead and that they have to rely on his contingency plans to take down the League. Wait, what? Batman is dead just like that? No explanation, no flashback, no nothing? How did he die? When did he die? Who killed him? Why should we care? Like, this is a terrible way to start the game, by killing off one of the main characters off screen without any build-up or emotional impact. And don't tell me that this is a spin-off and that it doesn't matter because this game is set in the same universe as the Batman Arkham series, which means that this is the same Batman that we have played as and followed for 4 games. Well, 4 games if you count Arkham Origins, but the 3 main ones are, if you've forgotten, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. The same Batman that faced the Joker, Scarecrow, Bane, Ra's al Ghul, and many other villains. The same Batman that sacrificed himself to save Gotham from the Nightfall Protocol. The same Batman that was voiced by the legendary Kevin Conroy. And you're telling me that he just died? And that's it? That's a huge slap in the face to the fans of the characters and to the fans of the series. But wait, it gets worse. Because lo and behold, Batman isn't really dead. He's actually alive and under Brainiac's control. And he is the first Justice League member that the Suicide Squad encounters. And how do they encounter him? By being chased by him in a museum, where he acts like a generic enemy that pops up from time to time to scare them. Like, I know Batman's whole thing is fear, but seriously? This is how you treat him? By reducing him to jump scares? That's not how Batman operates. He's not a mindless killer, he's a master tactician and a detective and a martial artist and a genius and a leader and a hero. He is the world's greatest detective, not the world's greatest stalker. He should be using his skills, his gadgets, his stealth, his intelligence, his charisma to outsmart and outwit the Suicide Squad. He should be a formidable opponent, a worthy adversary, and a challenge, not a cheap horror movie villain. And then there's the final confrontation with Batman, where the Suicide Squad manages somehow to capture and bind him. And what do they do with him? They kill him again, but this time for real. Harley Quinn shoots him in the head, point blank with a revolver, and that's it. Game over. Batman is dead for good. No twist, no comeback, no resurrection, just a bullet to the brain. That's the best you can do? That's the most satisfying and meaningful way to end Batman's story? By having him killed by a brainwashed version of himself and then by Harley Quinn? I'm sorry, but that's not a satisfying and meaningful ending. That's a disrespectful and insulting ending. That's an ending that spits on the legacy of the character and the history of one of the best gaming series that has ever been made. That's an ending that makes no sense and has no consequences. That's an ending that sucks. Now we move on to Gotham Knights. In the beginning of the game, you see Batman's message to the Bat family saying that he is dead and Gotham is now theirs to protect. After that, you get a lengthy cutscene of his battle with Ra's al Ghul, which ends in Batman blowing up the Batcave, killing him and Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, one of the most skilled fighters and basically immortal because he has the Lazarus Pit, is more justified to put Batman in such a position than the Suicide Squad. I'm not saying that he should be able to put Batman in that position, but he is more justified to do it. Towards the end of the game, Talia al Ghul resurrects Batman using the Lazarus Pit, and you have to fight him. Again, Batman being held to a standstill by a member of the Bat family of your choosing is much more plausible than the Suicide Squad. After this fight, Batman sacrifices himself to save the Bat family and to stop the Court of Owls from having the Lazarus Pit, therefore killing him a second time. Now, for part 3, my opinions. Before I give my opinions on the game's portrayals of Batman, I want to give my opinion on Batman himself. In case you somehow have not noticed yet, I am a DC fan. But more than a DC fan, I am a fan of Batman. I love his story, his persona, his background, his fortune, his loss, his failures, his style, his mortality, and his mentality. I love how his villains test him in every possible way, not only trying to beat him physically, but trying to break him mentally, trying to get him to break his oath, to never stoop so low as to take a life, no matter what they have done. Although some, like Jason Todd, Red Hood, may disagree with his methods, saying how showing mercy to thugs does nothing to clean the streets of Gotham, it is undeniable that he has made Gotham a better place as a symbol of both fear and justice. That's enough glazing for one video, so now to whoever is still there, I'll get into my opinions on Batman's portrayal in the games. As Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League is a sequel to the beloved Arkham games, it had a lot of pressure from the get-go. And to add on to that pressure, this was the late Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman. I have heard and read that Batman will probably come back with the later DLC seasons, as unused audio files were found suggesting that him and the rest of the Justice League will probably be revived. However, that does not help the fact that Batman was reduced to a mere shell of himself just for the sake of the plot to make the Suicide Squad seem stronger than they actually are. How are you going to tell me that Batman in the game stopped the Flash, but he gets killed by a gun? The same Batman that in the movie Batman Assault on Arkham, which I highly recommend you watch, single-handedly stopped the Suicide Squad, which included Killer Frost and Black Spider. But you're trying to convince me that he gets killed just like that? With a gun to the head? As a side note, killing Robin off screen is actually insane. When the Suicide Squad is going over Batman's contingency plans, they figure out that those plans were actually meant for Robin. But King Shark finds Robin's mask bloodied on the floor, and they conclude that Robin is just dead. So you're telling me you killed Robin off screen? This game had so much potential to be a game that lives up to the Arkham franchise, but it just lacked in the common sense department. I hope with the coming DLC seasons, it gets better with the criticism from the community, but sadly, no matter what they do, they can't undo the damage that they already did. Gotham Knights is technically a sequel to Arkham Origins in terms of when it came out. However, it is not part of the Arkham series and takes place in a separate universe. Although the game itself leaves much to be desired in terms of graphics and actual gameplay, it features a side of the Bat family that we do not get to see very often. It shows Batman being a father figure to Dick, Jason, Barbara, and Tim. It shows the Bat family picking off where he left off, being the protectors of Gotham. Although, like I said before, the gameplay leaves much to be desired, in my opinion, the snippets of cutscenes and the story is worth playing the game. Batman is only seen in the beginning and in the end. However, the way he is killed is much better in this game than in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Being killed by the leader of the League of Assassins and then sacrificing himself to save his family is not a bad way to go, and is very much worthy of a Batman death if he were to have one. That basically concludes the rant of each and every Batman fan. Honestly, I end the Arkhamverse with Arkham Knight to keep it perfect. I do not know why Kill the Justice League was added, but it makes me sad. I would be so hyped if a game called Red Hood Kill the Suicide Squad came out so I could take out my frustrations. Anyway, if you enjoyed my ranting, then please like and subscribe for more. Leave comments about what you'd like to see next, and if you didn't enjoy me ranting, that's fine too. But anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.